What's going on, guys? It's Tom. I'm back with another video. You know what? On this one, I wanted to kind of talk about, a lot of guys obviously are out there watching YouTube videos of us guys, us vloggers in the Philippines, that are living here. We're living here, right? And then your guys are probably in the U.S. and you want to come here to visit, or maybe you want to even come here to thinking about coming here to retire and live. And I just wanted to let you guys know that, it's different here in different areas. You know what I mean? It's not all the same. So if you're watching one vlogger that's from a small city or something like that in the Philippines, their experience is going to be different, okay, than someone else. Or, if you go visit other cities in the Philippines and you're not just thinking tunnel vision, like, oh, I'm just going to go to Dumaguete. Now I don't live in Dumaguete, by the way. I'm in Quezon City, uh, but I've been to Dumaguete a couple of times, right? I've been to Cebu a couple times. I've been to Bohol a couple times. Not just for a day or two. Like for like a week. Each time. Okay, more than a week. In Cebu one time it was like almost 2 weeks there on one trip. The first time. And but so I've been around, right? Like Iloilo, Bacolod a couple of times, So I mean, I've got a good taste of these different areas, and different cities and stuff, okay? And even some islands, Went to Guimaras Island a couple of times, which is kind of off of Iloilo, very close to Iloilo. It's a pretty cool island too. Um, just for example, but and I would advise you, like, if you're thinking about coming here, not only should you listen to watch different vloggers, right, in the Philippines from that are in different areas, because if you just listen to one guy from one area, that's not going to be indicative. The information that they might be giving you is not necessarily indicative of the entire country of the Philippines. It just might be indicative of just their location where they're at, you know? So that's why sometimes it's important just to watch different guys. But also, I would really tell you, man, come here to visit first. Don't just come here cold and then you're gonna live here the first time you come here. You think I'm moving, I'm going there. You know, for whatever reason, like you really should visit several areas. You know what I mean? Go to like 4 or 5 different places. And feel it out. You know, spend at least a week or so in each place. You know, get a feel for it before you make a decision about, oh, I'm gonna definitely go here, in one place. And that's kind of what this video is about. I just wanted to give you guys some of that information, because there's some, you know, there is some, they're a lot different, man. Uh, some areas are not nearly as populated as others. Like the island of Bohol is pretty cool. I mean, it's like not very populated. There is a city, Tagbilaran, in Bohol, but it's small. I mean, it's like smaller than Dumaguete, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's pretty small. When you're driving through it, if you blink, you miss it. Oh, one thing interesting about Bohol, and I don't think this has changed, like since 2020. There's like no taxis, no grabs, okay? And I think there's only trikes. I think I noticed trikes in the city area, in the Tagbilaran area, and also where the main mall is. There's like one mall, you know. And I believe there's trikes around there, but generally speaking, if you're anywhere outside of that city, up in, a little bit northern Bohol, the northern part of the island, you know, uh, there's not, there's really, you don't see too many trikes, and I don't even know if they're really allowed. So the one thing about Bohol is if you visit there, you're either going to have to like find a private driver to take you around, to go to all the sites that you want to see and stuff, and maybe even the beach or whatever. Or I'll tell you something. And on our second trip there, I rented a car, and that was actually for a week. And that was before I came here to live. This was in 2020, and we had the car for the whole week. You know, and I'll tell you what, man, that was the first time I ever drove in the Philippines, and it was compared to other places like Manila, for example, it's a piece of cake driving in Bohol. You know what I mean? Like that, I would highly recommend, and I know I've said this before, probably in other videos, but I would highly recommend that be your first place to drive in the Philippines. you know, it's just a piece of cake. The only traffic that you'll see is when you go to blow through Tagbilaran, and it's pretty. And like I said, it's a small city. So it's not going to be like, oh, you're going to be sitting in traffic for like, hours or whatever. It's not much. So, but that's the thing, right? So you either hire a private driver. Now there is a bus. There is a bus. On our first trip, when we were up in the northern part, kind of closer to like Anda Beach, but not right near it, but closer to it than Panglao. We took a bus to the mall. South to the mall. And so there is a bus, and it was pretty good, not much traffic, like I said. So that's another option, depending on where you want to go. But, you can use your U.S. license if you're just visiting here, right? Your U.S. license is good for 3 months, in the Philippines. So whether you're like just visiting here for a month, then obviously, yeah, your license will be fine. You can rent a car and stuff with that license. Or even if you've already moved here for that first 3 months that you're living here, it'll be good. Now, you might be thinking, well, how do they know that I've been here for? Well, if they look at your passport, they'll see your passport stamp. Oh, you got here on this date. You're still here. And so they'll know. Is everybody going to check that? I don't know. I don't really know what to tell you there. I actually just recently got my Philippine license because I didn't want to have to worry about that because I'm living here now. I didn't want to be like, oh, what if they check? What if they say, can we see your passport? And I think they often do. Like when I did rent that car, even when I was only here for living for a month or a month and a half, my license was still good when I rented a car in Bacolod. That was in 2022 in July. I didn't need a Philippine license, but I can't remember if they did want to see my passport. I think maybe they did, at the rental car place in Bacolod. And then of course when in Bohol, I wasn't living here yet. It was a visit. It was the last visit before the pandemic, and ultimately before I came to live here a couple of years later. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's just something to think about. Some of these other areas like Dumaguete, there's trikes pretty much only. Like they don't really have taxis, I don't believe either, or grabs. It's just trikes and I guess jeepneys, and I don't know, maybe there's a bus. I know there's a long distance bus, from to Cebu, like a Ro-Ro type of situation, where the bus goes all the way from Dumaguete to Cebu and back. They have that kind of transportation. But yeah, so not every area is going to have access to like grabs and taxis. Okay, that's one thing to consider. So that's about it, guys. I just wanted to talk about that and give you guys a little more information so you can make an educated decision, before you come here. Especially before you come here to live. So I appreciate you guys watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. All right, I appreciate it, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.